So it's actually not a joke. That I hope this will be about something more real than me. Because although we can experience through life different awakenings, and there is a whole variety of awakening experiences, actually the awakening that we are really looking for is the awakening that shows us that actually we don't exist. And no, it's not that we don't exist, meaning that there is nothing, no, but we do not exist in the way we think. So awakening is something that happens in different forms, but it's really meaningful when it shows you that the you that you thought you were, and the you that you work throughout your life to enhance, to purify, to make it stronger, to self-improve it, that actually that I is not real. So awakening can be also quite a shock for some people, because it does not necessarily come to those who have been looking for it. Like, for example, I have a client that she was my client in psychotherapy, and she defines herself as a blasphemous person, angry, frustrated, and so on. But one day, she was going through some very difficult challenges, and she got a cup of coffee and went to her garden and sat under a tree there sipping her coffee, and suddenly she had this experience of oneness, which, as you know, is the ultimate experience of unconditional love, right? So she goes into this oneness. It was just an instant, but during that instant, the way she describes it is, I was not there, right? So everything was there, but she was not there. And everything was one. So this happened to her, and because she didn't have any preparation for this experience, she said it was very peaceful, very beautiful, but I didn't know what to do with it. So a little after, she got another one. So this type of experiences do not come necessarily to those who have been seeking it. But on the other hand, it's true that if you seek for the experience, you increase the chances that it will happen to you. It's rare that it will happen in such a powerful way to somebody that has never looked for awakening. So I hope that the only thing you will get from this conversation is this one thing, is look for it. Really pray for it. Ask for it. Read about it. Try to figure out with the mind first, perhaps, what it's about. What awakening is really, until, it will come to you. If there is sincerity, if there is devotion for attaining awakening, it will come to you. It doesn't come, to just the Himalayan masters living in meditation in the Himalayas after 60 years, going into deep silence and so on. No. This is available to everyone. But we increase the chances significantly if we want it, if we desire it, because we have free will. So in a way, the universe or God or the divine responds to our wants, right? I want it, meaning I give permission to the divine to show me. You are exercising the most powerful law in the world of duality, which is the law of free will. When you ask for something, meaning you are asking, it means that you are willing it. Now, there are different, as I said, there are different awakenings. You may have experienced already some awakenings in your life. The first time that you decided, okay, there is something about the spiritual life that I really want, and you began to go to church and so on, that was an awakening too. An awakening from a life that is completely devoid of God into a life that is about God. So that is a powerful awakening too, but still the illusion of that me and I pursuing God is there, right? So the awakening that I recommend you try to get is the awakening that the me, the I in the experience dissolves, or at least it is seen through as an illusion. And I highly, highly recommend that you do this. Why? Because awakening brings a perspective about your life and life in general that is very liberating. So a lot of the suffering that we experience as human beings begins to collapse after awakening. Especially if you have prepared yourself, because when it comes, you will have this insight, this powerful insight, but also you will be guided into what is going to happen later, right? Because there is a whole process after awakening. We could say that the spiritual path is divided between the moment you enter to the spiritual path, the time awakening happens to true nature, and then the rest, which is the process that leads to final liberation, right? What is final liberation? Is a state where you are in that oneness all the time, right? And you never come back to the human state. That would be complete liberation, which is not easy, right? Because it requires a tremendous purification, but the purification is better to approach it, and it's easier to approach it after awakening. Awakening gives you the push to go for a serious purification of what? Not of you, of the mind-body system, because this mind-body system is highly programmed, and what is in here, and this is what you discover in the awakening, what is in the mind-body system that is real is not a me or an I, it is awareness. Somewhere was there that word, awareness, consciousness. In Spanish, we don't have a separation between the word awareness and consciousness. It's one word, conciencia. So consciousness is the real you. And the purification happens in the mind-body system because consciousness doesn't need any purification. It's perfect already. What you are really is already perfect. What needs purification is the mind-body system, so that consciousness can experience itself in this apparatus unobstructed. And to do that, you need to go through a purification process. And that purification process, of course, after awakening, is not about me grabbing the sword and cutting my demons. No. It is about letting go. Sorry. It's about letting go, meaning surrendering all the negative stuff that you have in the mind-body system once there is awareness of them. The minute you become aware of a negative emotion, immediately surrender it. The minute you become aware of a thwarted desire or addiction or whatever, surrender it. And keep doing this to purify the mind-body system. Not you, because you're perfect already as consciousness. The consciousness, the pure consciousness that we all are. Because that consciousness is not individual also. It's not that you say, okay, here there is Gian consciousness. No, that is completely wrong. There is just one consciousness, and it's present in all of us, which is different in all these mind-body systems. And there is one consciousness. And that one consciousness is undifferentiated. So these mind-body systems are just like containers. And you can have containers of different colors and shape. And let's say in each container you put the still water. Well, there is the still water in all of them, right? Well, it's the same. There is consciousness, undifferentiated consciousness in all of us. All of us. Undifferentiated awareness of this moment in all of us. That is our true nature. And it's not different from one person to another. It's the same. It's the consciousness is God, right? God consciousness. So, but all this process, the beautiful process of purification towards liberation and the understanding of what you are really begins really with awakening to your true nature. And this is described in the Bible, in all scriptures. But I have to tell you that there is a problem of emphasis, just emphasis. It is described in all the different scriptures and the different teachings of the world. But if you want emphasis on awakening, you will find it in two traditions. One is Advaita and the other one is Zen. They emphasize awakening, right? It's just an emphasis. It is already in the Bible. You will find it many times. But the emphasis is because after awakening, everything changes. And the process towards liberation speeds up immensely. Your life improves very significantly. So there is good reasons to emphasize this. Very solid reasons. Now in the Zen tradition, yoga and so on, you may have seen this idea that the disciple comes to the master and the master touches the spiritual eye and boom, they have an awakening, right? But this is not the case. Actually, awakening comes in the strangest ways and in a spontaneous way and differently, in a different way to everybody. So you don't need the touch of a master or anything like that. You just need to want it, to desire it. That is it. Then God will take care of how it happens to you. You need to quicken the heart, wanting it really. I want awakening. For example, in my case, because at some point, due to suffering, of course, I became very interested in awakening. I wanted to wake up. So I remember before meditating, I was meditating for years, going nowhere. But before meditation, we began doing a routine with my wife, which was very simple. We got from Amazon a thing called Ormus. Ormus is an alchemical substance that potentiates intention, theoretically. But let's say it works, and then we were putting a little bit of Ormus in our hand. It was like a milky liquid, putting in our tongue, eating it, and affirming the following: I want to wake up, I want to wake up, I want to wake up, several times, quietly in our minds. And then we were going through our regular meditation. But after doing that for a while, awakening happened, right? So this is what I mean. The desire, you have to cultivate the desire for awakening, for completing this milestone. You have already been in the spiritual path possibly for many, many years. Get this, get awakening. Don't waste your time. because awakening will solve many problems and will speed up your path to liberation. Now, usually we say, okay, awakening comes as a spiritual experience, like it happened to my client, right? She was there, and suddenly, well, she had a spiritual experience that obliterated her world for a moment, and her I and her me, and boom, she got it, right? But it can come to you in a different way too, and it's through introspection. It is to just by looking. What is this looking? Is looking into the human experience and seeing into the human experience what is there and what isn't. And it's very simple to do. It may take some time. Anyone can do it, because spiritual experiences are not under your control. They will come or they will not. The only thing you can do is to ask for them. Quicken the heart, so to speak. But there is this other way in which you begin to have a look into the human experience. For example, you begin to notice what is in the mind-body system really, and what is not. And what is really there, for example, is you will find emotions, right? Everyone has had emotions. So when you find a mental object like that, you conclude, oh, there are emotions. Then you keep on looking inside, introspecting, so to speak, psychology would say. And then one day, oh, there are thoughts. I can see this voice in the head, right? And then you keep looking, and you will conclude that there are desires and goals, meaning motivations, drives, what moves you. That's more we relate it as a feeling in the heart, our desires and expectations and what moves us in life. Then if you keep looking, you will see that there are certain ideas that are controlling your life. Those are called beliefs, right? And you become curious about your beliefs, the beliefs that are controlling the mind-body organism. It's almost like an operating system in the mind. And then you keep investigating, and you will find something very obvious. There are sensations, right? And there are 5. Touch, taste, sight, hearing, and so on. So when you have seen these 5 mental objects in your experience, then I recommend that you try to find the I. Yes, because there is supposedly an I here called Gian, right? So you try to find that I. Try to find that me that we think so much in the head, and look for it. Really have a good look for that me. So you will begin to see at some point that it's very easy to find the mental objects. They are all there for everyone to see. But when you begin to find the me, you try to find the me, you will see that it is not so easy, right? And that leads to awakening again. Because eventually, well, I don't want to tell you, but just do it and see what happens, right? Look for that me. Sit down and look for that me. Is it there really? What is it? Is it a thought? Is it an emotion? Is it a combination? Is it consciousness? What is it? And then you can become curious, finally, about what you have been using to do the introspection. What do you use to do the introspection? In order to look within, what is the fundamental tool that allows this looking? Anyone?
Okay, we're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking. The mind? The mind, okay. Any other idea? Tuition? Feelings, okay. You see, it's a very interesting question, right? If you are introspecting, there is a looking, for example, an emotion, and there is the looking of the emotion. When you conclude that there is a particular emotion bothering you, the emotion arose, and something looked at the emotion. What was that? Yes, awareness. Awareness. It's always present. Look, you realize that there is some desire in your heart. How do you realize that there is a desire of your heart? The desire arises, awareness looks at it. You realize that there is all these visual inputs coming at this moment, right? All these visual inputs. Why is it possible to realize that there are all these visual inputs? Because there is awareness of those visual inputs. Hearing, same thing. Touching, tasting, all that requires fundamentally awareness. Then the rest, we can say all the rest, what is perceived, everything that is being perceived is what we call the mind. So the mind is the object and awareness is looking at it. Make sense? So this is an introspection that leads to awakening. Now, okay, let's leave it here. Questions? Any questions?
Gian,
Yes.
talked about the surrender. Maybe you could tell them the surrender protocol that you use.
Right, the surrendering technique. There is a thing called the surrendering technique, and it's extremely useful, especially, you can use it before awakening, but it's especially useful after awakening. Because what you do is, the minute you see a negative emotion arising, you grab it, give it a name, anger, for example, guilt, you give it a name, and then you insert it in a sentence, and this sentence is, this emotion, this anger is surrendered now to the divine completely, completely, completely. You let it go. Then there is a second sentence that you can add if you want, which is, please take it away forever, forever, forever. You are giving consciousness, the one consciousness, God, permission to work in your mind-body system and change the programs. Instead of grabbing you the sword and trying to cut the throat of your own demons, you just hand them to God, right? It's very, very simple, and it's very effective, right? And then the process speeds up, the process of purification, and without much pain, without much inner contradictions and frustrations and so on. So that is the surrendering technique, especially helpful. You can use it before awakening, yes, but especially useful after awakening. Any other question?